Hi, kindergarten. I'm really excited to be here doing math with you again today. As a reminder, my name is Mrs. Tate, and we are going to get started right away. Okay. So we are going to go ahead and continue with thinking about how we compare and order sets. And this is our last day of doing this. We're going to think about um, more and fewer and the same, again, just like we have done the past couple of days. This time, I'm going to give you another 5 minutes to think, to go find a few things around your house that will help us with our lesson today. The first thing I want you to find is 13 of something. It can be anything that you can count, but today we need 13 items. It can be cereal, pennies, pasta, rice, crayons, blocks, or anything you can find 13 of to count today. Also, you might want a piece of paper and a pencil to help you with your math thinking, and I'm going to give you 5 minutes to find those things. Here we go. All right, guys, hopefully that was enough time for you to get the things that we will need today. And we are going to go ahead and start by, we're going to be doing something called an estimatory to start. But I want us to remember those words more than and fewer than. And I'm going to show you a picture really quickly of more than. And here, as a reminder, we can see that more means a bigger amount. So if we have more of something, then it means it's bigger than the other set. So here there are more circles than squares. And when we say fewer than, it means a smaller amount. So here there are fewer squares than circles because there is a smaller amount of squares than circles. And we're going to use that thinking. We're going to get our brain thinking about more and less and fewer and the same today. Okay, so this one is called more pieces than you can see. Are you ready? So this is called an estimatory because we're going to make an estimate. An estimate is a guess. And this one is called more pieces than you can see. How many pieces can you see? Did you count them? How many did you see? So what we're going to do is we are going to guess how many pieces are here. How many pieces do you guess are here if you know it's more than you can see? Write that estimate down, your guess of how many pieces are there. And then we're going to get some clues to help us figure out how many are here. Did you write down your estimate? Is it more than how many you can see? Are you ready? All right, here's your first clue. There are more than 9 pieces because we can see 9 pieces here. So there are more than 9 pieces. Is your estimate more than 9? Did you guess more than 9? If you didn't, you should change your estimate because we know it's more than 9. And remember, an estimate doesn't have to be right. We're making a guess. So here, notice that all my numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, they blacked out because it is not any of those. It's got to be bigger. It's got to be more. So more, numbers that are more are 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. You ready for your next clue? Do you have an estimate written down that's more than 9? Here we go. There are less than 16 pieces. So we could also say fewer than 16. So let's see what happens to our number line when we say it's fewer than 16. Was your estimate fewer than 16 or less than 16? If not, change it. Because now we know that our estimate is more than 9, but fewer than 16. It's smaller than 16. What numbers could it be? We can use our number line to help us. Do you see that number line? Is your estimate either 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, or 15? Okay, ready for the next clue? The answer is not 10 or 11. So if your estimate was 10 or 11, make a change. How many foam pieces do you think are in that cup? 12, 13, 14, or 15? We have a small number of possibilities. All right, ready for our last clue? The answer is not 13 or 14. So now we're down to 2 numbers that could be our estimate, 12 or 15. So what you need to do now is you need to pick. Do you think that there are 12 foam pieces here or 15 foam pieces here? Write it down, and I want you to say why. Explain to someone next to you or tell me, why did you pick the number that you picked? Okay, are you ready to find out the answer? Let me move my screen. Drum roll. 12 pieces. There are 12 pieces, which is more than the ones that we can see. Good job estimating today, guys. And that gets our brain really thinking about more than and fewer than and less than. And we're going to use it in thinking about sets today. And we're again going to be thinking about putting sets in order from least to greatest and greatest to least. But this time you're going to create the sets. You're going to come up with the numbers that we put in least to greatest or greatest to least. And remember this picture here of the buckets. The smallest, fewest, or the least is in that red bucket. And the largest or the greatest or the most is in that blue bucket. And the orange bucket falls right in the middle. So they're in order right now from least to greatest. All right. So we're going to get thinking about some other things that we see that are from least to greatest and greatest to least. So take a look at this picture for a minute. And I want you to think about something that you notice. So I want you to say, I notice, and fill in the rest of it. Maybe you notice that we have these really tall buildings. Maybe you notice that it looks like a city. Maybe you notice these boats down here. Maybe you notice that some of the buildings are taller or higher or more than the others. Some are shorter or smaller. Now I want you to take a second to wonder. What is a question that you have? I wonder. Maybe you wonder what city this is. Maybe you wonder how they built these buildings because they're pretty cool looking, aren't they? Maybe you're wondering about what the buildings are for. Do people live in them? Do people work in them? Our brains are really thinking about these buildings, and what we're going to call them are towers. These are tall towers. Some of them are taller than the others. Another way we can say that is their height is greater than the others. And we're going to be thinking about towers today with our task. I'm going to show you some tools, that how we can use tools to build towers. So you grabbed some kind of objects to use to count, and I asked you to grab 13 of them. And there are a couple ways we might use these tools to build tall and short towers or greater and fewer towers. So for example, I have these cubes, and maybe if you have blocks, or maybe you have cubes yourself, or you have something that can stack on top of each other, you could build your own towers to look like a city. Do you see how I have one tower that's greater than the other tower? It's bigger. It's greater. That's really important. Or maybe you have a tool. I could use tiles maybe, where you can lay them out in front of you so that they look like they're a tower instead of stacking them on top of each other. So I can still lay these tiles down so that it looks like a tower. And here I see that this one's greater and this one's fewer. So I want you to take a second and play with your tiles or play with your objects, whatever you got to count, and turn them into towers. Can you make some towers? Wow. Were some of your towers bigger or greater than your other towers? They had more objects in them? And I bet some of your towers had fewer objects or they looked smaller. We are going to be doing the same type of tower building with a task today. And your city, just like this city has, is only going to have 3 towers. So you're going to use your 13 items, whatever it is that you grabbed from where you're at, and you're going to create a city with 3 towers. One tower is going to have more cubes, and one is going to have fewer cubes. And all together, you're going to have 3 different towers. And then you're going to put those in order from greatest to least or least to greatest. So let's say that. Can you tell me in your own words, what's your job to do today? Yes, your job is to create 3 towers. You're making a city just like this one, but yours has 3 towers, and they're all different sizes. And one must have more, and one must have fewer in your 3 towers. And you're going to put them in order. I'm going to give you 5 minutes to do that, and then we're going to look at some ideas of what other students have done and think about how yours is the same or different. Are you ready? Go ahead and take 5 minutes and create 3 different towers. If you think of one way to do it, draw it, and then try to think of another way you can make your city have 3 towers. Here we go. remember, if you think of one way, draw it and then think of another way to make your city have 3 different towers and put them in order from least to greatest or greatest to least. How many different ways can you come up with? Draw them all. Wow, I hope in that amount of time you created one city with 3 towers and were able to put those towers in order from least to greatest or greatest to least. Maybe you created 2, 3, or 4 cities and drew them all. We're going to look at some different ideas about building towers, but first I want you to think about your own thinking. Pick one of your cities and out loud either tell me or tell someone near you about the city that you created, the 3 towers. I put this tower first because, go ahead and tell someone. I put this tower first because, and how about this one? I know that this tower has more objects than that tower because I know that this tower has more objects than that tower because. Wow, that was some really good thinking. Let's look at some ideas of what some other students did, and we can see how these are all the same or different. Okay, look at what this student did. Can you tell someone about this person's towers? Tell me or tell someone near you. What did this person do? maybe you saw that they have 7 over here. And look, they even wrote the number 7 to represent it. We could also count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 purple, and then 3, and then 1. So is this greatest to least, most to fewest, or fewest to most? Do you agree that they put these in an order based on the size of the towers? Hmm. All right, let's look at another one. Oops, let me move. So this student, his or her towers look very different, don't they? Tell someone what this person did with their towers. Now, these two ideas about towers are different, and that's okay because all of our brains think differently about math, and there were lots of ways that we could solve this problem. But I want us to think about how these two ideas are the same or different. So, this first one with the purple towers and the second one with the blue towers have some things that are the same and some things that are different. So I want you to start by thinking about how are they the same? And either tell me or tell someone near you, these are the same because I did this with my daughter yesterday and she told me they're the same because they both still have 13 cubes or 13 objects, whatever object you were using. If we counted all of them, they could be 13. That's how they're still the same. That's one way. I bet there are lots of other ways that you came up with that they are the same. How are they different? Let's talk about that one now. Tell me or tell someone near you these two ideas are different because maybe you notice that in this first one, the student started with the biggest tower and went down to the smallest tower, the least tower. And the person on the other side started at the small, the fewest, or the least tower and went up to the tower that had the greatest amount. Maybe you also notice that each of the towers are a little bit different. They don't have the same number of cubes in each one. But we could move all the cubes around so that they could be the same as each other, which is pretty cool, isn't it? If I took the one of the pink cubes and put it on top of the orange cube, it would look the same as this set of cubes over here that has 2 in it. We could rearrange them to make them look like each other. What cool thinking. I wonder how yours is the same or different from these. Take a minute to think about that. Say, mine is the same or mine is different because. Okay. So, guys, we did some really awesome thinking today about our towers and how we were able to create our own sets and put them in order from least to greatest or greatest to least. So, I have one more challenge for you today if you want to take another challenge. When you are doing your exercise today, choose a number of jumping jacks to do, any number you want, and do those jumping jacks. And then I want you to do less or fewer push ups than jumping jacks. And then do more sit ups than jumping jacks. I'm going to give you a minute to write that down if you want to. So do jumping jacks, less push ups than jumping jacks, and more sit ups than jumping jacks. So it's like jumping jacks are that middle bucket there, the orange bucket. All right, kindergarten. I had so much fun learning math with you today, and I can't wait to see you next time.